Hello and welcome to Dr. Rajesh Biogenesis. In this video, I will be discussing a topic related to symmetry and group theory. One of the symmetry elements, the basic symmetry element rotation, reflection and an inversion. We have three basic symmetry operations and interrelated elements. So plane is one such element, and with respect to plane we perform an operation called as reflection. A plane of symmetry is indicated by sigma. How to understand this plane of symmetry, and first of all, what are the basic planes I have given you here. There are three spatial coordinates x, y and z, and with respect to these three coordinates I have drawn three different planes. Any plane would take up two different coordinates. The first one is a xy plane. This will be a xy plane. This is in x and y coordinate. The second one is a xz plane. Supposing that I choose this, now this will form an xz plane. This is a plane in this way. And the third one is a yz plane. It is the plane of the board. So suppose if I hold it this way, now these are the three different planes. One plane is an xy plane, second plane is a xz plane, and third plane is a yz plane. Altogether there are three different planes. Now coming to the definition, what exactly a plane of symmetry or a reflection symmetry mean? There are different names to it. Some say it is a reflection symmetry, some say plane of symmetry, or they may give some other name, but understanding is just one and the same. By definition, a plane of symmetry is that imaginary symmetry element. I call it as imaginary symmetry element. Every symmetry element is imaginary. They are not real. They are unreal. You have to imagine it. Plane is also unreal. A mirror is a real one, but a plane is purely imaginary. So a plane is a symmetry element which is purely imaginary and that pass through the center of a given entity. I have taken a square that has to pass through the center. Whenever I say center, that center is the center of gravity. Supposing that this is the center. Okay, now with respect to this I am giving you the perfect definition. A plane is an imaginary symmetry element that pass through the center of gravity of any given entity, bisecting the entity into symmetrical halves where each half is a mirror image of the other. That is the standard definition. Having said this, I could also say that plane is that symmetry element which will bisect the molecule into equal halves. That is also another definition. When I say equal halves, that means 50%, 50%. There is a difference in saying equal halves and symmetrical halves. Even if I say equal halves, I have to add another statement saying that the two halves must be mirror image to one another. What is the importance of this terminology? Let us understand. Supposing that I am passing a plane this way. Now this is 50%. This is also 50%. When I pass the plane in this way, now this is one half which is not the mirror image of the another half. These two are not mirror images. So now this plane is invalid. I just cannot pass a plane as I like, because I can say that it is passing and it is breaking into equal halves, 50%, 50%, therefore it should be valid. That is a wrong argument. That is invalid. So every symmetry element and operation must be a valid operation. When I am rotating a particular molecule, that particular rotation must bring a molecule into indistinguishable configuration. Therefore the rotation must be a valid rotation. I just cannot choose any invalid rotation and say that there is so much of angle, 50 degree, 60 degree, I cannot. Only valid operations must be considered. So this is invalid, though it is giving you equal halves. 50%, 50% is equal half. But those halves must be mirror images to one another. Then this statement will become true. Supposing that I am passing a plane. This is the plane, xz plane. Either I can put the full plane or I can simply represent it by half. Suppose I want to represent xz, I can simply represent this way. Or I could even represent this way. They both mean the same. Either this is xz, this is also xz. Half a representation is much convenient, and we always stick to convenience, right? So this particular plane is invalid, whereas this plane is invalid because it is bisecting the entity into equivalent halves where each half is a mirror image of the another. And once the operation is done, both halves reflect into one another. Reflect into one another means now this half will reflect here and this half will reflect here. How are these reflections? I'll just give you an idea. Suppose that I choose sigma xy, sigma xz and sigma yz. For sigma xy, this is sigma xy. I have chosen some entity, now I am passing a plane. As I pass a plane, you can just watch the above half will reflect into below half, below into above. So above and below, they exchange one another. With respect to xy, which halves will exchange means above and below half, above half and below half, or I am calling it as halves. Above and below halves will exchange, right? Above and below halves will exchange. Now this is xz. Once I pass an xz, which halves will exchange means this is xz. So the right and the left halves will exchange. XY plane, above and below will exchange. This is xz, right and left. There will be an exchange between right half and a left half. Right and left halves will be exchanged. Here above and below, here right and left. Coming to yz, this is yz. It means this plane. When I pass an imaginary plane, towards you half and away from you half, they exchange into one another, provided the plane is valid. So when I am passing sigma yz towards and away halves exchange. Simple. Three different planes, the basic planes, and three different exchanges. The first plane xy, above and below half will exchange. The second plane xz, right and left halves will exchange. And the third plane yz, towards you and away from you halves will exchange. These are the three different planes that we have. Now once we have understood the three different planes and their operations, we need to classify the planes. For classification, we must have an idea about the proper axis or the rotational axis of symmetry. There are two different types of axis. One is called as a principal axis, the second one is called as a secondary axis. Principal axis, with respect to that, we can classify the planes into two different types. With the idea of principal axis, whichever plane is parallel to the principal axis, we call such a plane as a vertical plane. Planes are classified into three types that I have done in another video. You can just watch it. In the symmetry power of 3, I have defined it. Altogether there are three different planes. One is called as a vertical plane, the second one horizontal, and the third one is a dihedral plane. A vertical plane is that plane which is parallel to the principal axis or which is along the principal axis. Supposing that I choose, now just imagine that this is the principal axis within a molecule, okay, and if this is the plane which is parallel to the principal axis, this plane I call it as a vertical plane. So with respect to this principal axis along z, conventional z axis, xz is a vertical plane, yz is also parallel to it, it is also vertical, xy is perpendicular to it, therefore this is horizontal plane. A plane which is perpendicular with respect to principal axis must be called as a horizontal plane. Very simple, right? Out of the three different planes, I have defined two of them. A plane which is parallel to the principal axis, supposing that this is the principal axis, this is parallel, vertical plane, this is also parallel, vertical plane, this is perpendicular, should be called as a horizontal plane. We have a third type which is called as dihedral plane. Indicated by sigma d. All these are with respect to Schoenflies notation, whether I call it as a sigma v, sigma h, sigma d, all these come under Schindler's notation. To understand dihedral plane, I'll just give you a molecule. You imagine it to be a benzene molecule. Now I've chosen a benzene, right? Imagine this to be a benzene. From the basic symmetry elements, as you are aware of, there is a C6 rotational axis, and as I rotate with a 60-degree angle, I get a equivalent configuration. And when I rotate 6 times, altogether I'll get a identical configuration. So the higher fold rotational axis in benzene is a C6. I'm choosing benzene. Benzene has C6 rotational axis. Along with this C6, I can just pass a C2. This is a C2 which is passing from hydrogen, carbon, coming out from the carbon and hydrogen. I am just rotating by 180 degree, it is giving an equivalent configuration. So therefore there is a C2. How many C2s are present in it, you can check. Supposing that I am taking that benzene here. Now this is one C2, so from here I can pass a C2. From the opposite carbons or the hydrogens, this is another C2, and this is a third C2. Altogether there are 3 C2s passing from the opposite carbons and the hydrogens. Along with this, I can also pass a C2 from the opposite bonds. This is opposite bonds. Opposite bonds and opposite bonds. That is also a C2. So for differentiation, I am putting this as C2 and the one which is passing through the bonds as C2 prime. C2 has a greater importance because it is passing from more number of atoms. C2 prime is only passing through the bonds. Now to define this dihedral plane, I want a dihedral angle. What is a dihedral angle means? It is an angle made between two similar and consecutive C2s. Okay? What exactly does it mean? Let's understand. It is an angle which is subtended, mathematical term. It is an angle that is subtended between two similar and consecutive C2s. First let me start with this C2. I am just putting a dotted line, I am extending it. This is another C2. This is a third C2. C2, C2 and C2, they are making some angles. This is one angle or this is another angle. Right, they are making some angles. Next, this is a C2 prime. This is another C2 prime. There is also an angle between C2 and C2 prime. So dihedral plane is what plane? Is it dissecting this angle or this angle? Which angle is it dissecting? We must understand. From here to here is 1, from here to here is also 1. C2 to C2. In definition itself you can understand dihedral plane is that plane that bisects the dihedral angle. And dihedral angle is an angle subtended between two similar and consecutive. C2 and C2 prime are different, they are not similar. But this C2 and this C2 are similar because this is passing through carbons, this is also passing through carbons, this is passing through bonds. So this C2 and this C2 are similar. This C2 is similar. When these C2s are similar, which angle should I take? This one or this one? Is again given in the definition. Consecutive C2s. Consecutive C2s means the C2s that are one after the other, but not with a gap. So C2 and C2, this is the angle. Or C2 and C2, this is the angle, but you should not take this angle. Completed. Okay. Dihedral plane is a plane that bisects a dihedral angle that is subtended by two similar and consecutive C2s. So if I consider this C2 and this C2, now a plane that I draw must be a dihedral plane. Okay, this is by definition. So each dihedral plane would pass through the C2 prime and a C2 prime. This would give altogether 3 sigma Ds. This is a first hand information about dihedral planes. When we get deeper into dihedral planes, there is much more to understand. because by definition I can also pass between two C2s, or I can also pass it between two C2 primes, because these two C2s are similar and consecutive. So I can call this also as a dihedral plane. Then all the 6 planes that are present will become dihedral planes. But for benzene, this is the principal axis, C6, higher fold. So all these planes are parallel to that principal axis, therefore these planes can also be called as vertical planes. There is a confusion with respect to dihedral plane always. This you need to understand. Different literature, different authors will provide different information. I am concluding all that information at a single point. Understand 3 different points. First thing, with respect to principal axis, all these planes can be called as vertical planes because these are the planes that are parallel to the principal axis. First convention. So all planes I can call it as 6 sigma v. Second convention. There are 6 C2s, out of which one C2 is more important than the other because it is passing from 2 carbons. So this C2 gets a greater importance over C2 prime. So with respect to these C2s, whatever planes that we are getting can be called as dihedral planes. The remaining ones we call them as vertical planes. In such a convention we have 3 sigma v and 3 sigma d convention. But third convention say, if I am considering these C2s for dihedral planes, I can also consider C2 primes for dihedral planes, because the definition says so. I can also consider C2 primes. Then all the planes parallel to the principal axis would become sigma d. Which convention should I follow? Should I go by 6 sigma v, 3 sigma v, 3 sigma d, or 6 sigma d? That is up to you. I can follow this, I can follow this, or I can also follow this convention, because symmetry is our understanding. What are the different patterns that are present, I am able to understand, and that understanding could be in a different way. But for group theory considerations, usually we go with this. For general symmetry considerations, we go with this. Whenever you are working out the symmetry elements, I can simply put 6 sigma v, or else I can put 3 sigma v, 3 sigma d. There are some authors who also give 6 sigma d. That is also true. Then how should you remove the confusion? I will put it in a simpler way. The simpler way is sigma d, you just remember it in such molecules where the 2 units are staggered to one another. What exactly do I mean by it? Suppose that I have taken ethylene. In this ethylene unit there is a CH2 and a CH2. There are 2 units. 2 identical units, and these 2 identical units are eclipsed to one another. When I hold it this way, you just cannot see the rare CH2 unit. These are eclipsed. But just imagine if there are 2 units that are staggered, identical units, whenever they are staggered, then the planes that are present will be dihedral planes. So simple is that. I will discuss more about this in some other video. I will choose one particular important molecule where you find dihedral planes. But just to conclude, plane of symmetry is one of the most important symmetry elements, which is imaginary and that bisects the given molecule or entity into symmetrical halves that are mirror images to one another. Altogether we have 3 basic planes. The number of planes could be many, but the basic planes are only 3, x, y, xz and yz. Which halves do they exchange? Above and below, right and left, towards you and away from you, halves are being exchanged. How many planes are present? To understand, you should know what are the different axes, principal axis and secondary axis, or subsidiary or auxiliary axis. With respect to principal axis, the plane that is parallel is vertical plane and this is a horizontal plane. Dihedral plane is a different one. To get the dihedral plane, you just take such a molecule where there are 2 units that are staggered to one another. Let me choose staggered ferrocene, staggered ethane, staggered chromosine, allene. In all such molecules, definitely there will be a dihedral plane. More about the symmetry elements, planes and other examples in the next video. Thank you.